Good morning. Good morning. Grand awakening. Grand awakening. So, everybody, my Cardology book is going to be launching next week. And it's going to be a very, very good book for kind of like digging in and doing a little research and knowing and all of that, especially dealing with the karmas, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Like, we're going to be talking about one karma, the karma of the seven of spades. And we're going to talk about another little couple of stuff. I'm going to dive into a little bit into crypto today, a little bit into SOV, which I've been working on. Now, understand that sometimes they move a little slow because it's me and my agents developing now. So, like, I'm developing agents, and then I have to develop. So, I have to develop my AI agents so that they could take on the extra work that I need for them to take on this year. And then I'm also developing to keep things moving forward. So, I had a little snag in the launch of my vault, which should be ready by tomorrow. I tested it. We was having some login issues and stuff like that. So I've been working on that. So if you signed up as an early bird from my vault, guess what? That's great. And guess what? I extended the early bird to today. So there's still a couple of slots left for people to join 1 year of I'm sorry. Let me tell y'all something. So my vault is no longer a year, it's a lifetime membership. Sorry. So, are y'all hearing me? Let me make sure y'all hearing me because I had to hook up this microphone and this morning, and I think I didn't do a great job. Y'all hear me out there? Yeah. Y'all hearing me? Good, good, good. And my internet is a little slow, so pardon a little bit of a lag you may get. But the vault, which I will be launching tomorrow, is not a yearly, it's lifetime access to my vault. So that means that everything I do, I'll be putting in the vault. So when I have webinars, I'll be putting them in the vault. Now, they may not go right away, if you want to see the webinar now, but eventually all my archives will be in the vault. So you'll have access to all of the classes that I've ever done, everything. I got a class in there that I taught when I had COVID. I looked so bad. I was like, oh my God, I look horrible. And it's actually my first class in there. It's the first one that shows up. I was like, oh, I look terrible because I had COVID, didn't know I had COVID, thought I was just tired from working and all that other stuff. And that's when I wound up in the hospital not too long after recording that. So that's in there. So I have everything in there. So if you're wanting to sign up, you can go to my snip feed. As a matter of fact, let me post my snip feed for you. Let me get my snip feed for you. I'll get the link directly for you. So if you want to sign up for that, today is the last day to sign up for the early bird. So you get it for $250, whereas it's going to normally be $7.99 to get in the vault. So whoever gets in the vault gets in the vault. Who doesn't, I'm sorry, can't help you there. The vault. So that's the best deal I got, especially since I'm not teaching any more classes per se. If you in certified classes, this is my last graduating class of my certified classes. So if you join the vault, though, you have an opportunity to later on just get one of my regular cardology certifications by completing certain things in the vault, and and utilizing it for a certain amount of time. So I think that's a really good deal. Hey, also, I have my AI agents class coming up, webinar coming up Friday. I think it's this Friday. Let me see. When is it? Yes, it's this Friday. So I will be having a webinar on AI agents, which a lot of you selfpreneurs need to be getting into. That is the thing of 2025 when it comes to being in the AI space, is building your own agents, or even using some of the agents that are out there now. There are agents that are out there. What are agents? Agents do things for you. Don't you need somebody doing something for you? They're like robots with no bodies. That's what agents are. So the robots aren't really this year, they're going to be next year. But this year is going to be the agents. So you're going to have agents that can run certain things on your computer for you. You have agents that can answer your emails. You have agents that can, or make orders for you online. You have agents that can that can research for you. You have agents that can point out some things you need to do to better your website or to make more money. You have agents to look at some of your competitors. You have agents to run scripts. You have agents to build software or to build tools on your computer. You got agents to do anything. And that is the thing this year. You know what I mean? And we need to get ahead of these things. Like, we don't need to be sleeping. These things are made for us, y'all. The workaholics, the ones that overwork, the ones that selfpreneurs, the ones that are running their business all by themselves. You need to have a team of agents. You need to learn how to use different tools like make.com and stuff like that, where you can string things together and have these agents making things for you. Whether they're making content or whatever, you need to have these agents, like, for real, for real. So you need to at least learn about them. And I have that class, a link to that class with the early bird. That means I always give an early bird. So that means for everybody who signs up the first day, you pay half. And that early bird code is in my description too. So you need to sign up today. It's $50 if you sign up with the early bird code. So, I'm always trying to keep y'all up on game. Like, serious. These people, they're not going to, one thing you're not going to be kept up on is AI. It's just going to be thrown in your face to use or to consume. But you not having no idea the power that you have, just knowing about what you can do with AI, and at least what you can do now. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of people just not knowing and scrolling up and down social media, or paying attention to too much to these things that are going on in the world, because that's what it's going to really be about this year. It's going to be about how well you're able to balance what's going on out in the world. You're going to have to excuse, we got babies crying in the background. This is the Queen of Clubs life I'm living. But there are going to be things, plenty of things that are going on out there in the world. But these things don't have to stop you or stop your bag, number one, because you still got to pay bills. Nobody's going to stop your bills, right? So you need to be able to have one foot in and one foot out. And that's the life I live, one foot in and one foot out, right? I prefer to have more of the foot out of that and into what I'm into, right? I talked about how, women, and even in particular Black women, because that's the epitome of the Queen of Clubs. Single mom, or even when you're in a relationship, you operating like a single mom. So this is the epitome of the karma that is associated with us. The reason why it's so hard is because you're supposed to come up with the solutions, and you're supposed to acknowledge the solutions that exist for you to take the weight off of you. And it's amazing we're talking about this on the Ten of Spades day, right? The Ten of Spades is the card of the workaholic. This is Mercury to the Queen of Clubs. So everybody is going to feel the pressures of the Queen of Clubs today, right? So this is disruptions. This is the card of disruption, right? So plan on having your life disrupted today, and it's okay. Don't fall apart. It's the energy. You got to roll with the energy. You signed up for this. You know what I mean? So don't fall apart if your life is disrupted. Don't get angry. You know, this is also dealing with very touchy feelings. This card has very touchy feelings. So likely if you talk to somebody that you normally been talking to sideways, they're gonna snap on you or say something that's gonna touch your feelings. This is a very touchy-feely card. It's a very emotional card. This is also the code is early bird. I'm gonna tell y'all this. The code is always early bird. Early bird. Early bird. Oops. I forgot. I'm in front of the bad keyboard. Early bird. To do my streaming, I have to switch computers. So this is the early bird is the coupon and code for the AI agents class on Friday. And I still have an early bird, which is the link is right here for the vault. I got the link for the vault. I have it starred. I don't know what that does. I don't know a lot about this streaming stuff, y'all. I'm smart, but the vault price ends today because it will launch tomorrow. The only thing I'm doing now is finishing adding some of the content that I couldn't add because I was fixing the login yesterday. So that vault price ends today. So I have those two things. And mind you, as I've told you in the past, these are ways that I raise money to continue doing what I'm doing, whether it's putting out new apps, putting out new software. It's a ton of Cardology stuff that I want to put out, but it takes time. And I want to be able to, I have a Queen of Spades in Jupiter this year. I want to be able to immerse myself in the build, in the writing, and stuff like that. So that means I don't have much time to do a lot of anything else, like readings and all that other stuff. So that affects your money. You know what I mean? When you take time off to either write a book or to produce some software and stuff like that, that's just less, money you get from the day to day grind. Because I get three of diamonds grind. The three of diamonds is my reverse sun, which will also be in the book. I will explain reversals, reverse suns, and the power of reverse suns. All of this is going to be in my book next week, right? So you don't have to come and ask me, Aquarius, what's a reverse sun? It's going to be right there in the book. What a reverse sun is, all of that hidden power. Going to be explaining all of those things in that book next week. So yeah. So it doesn't have to be a bad year. It could be a good year with some interesting side effects. That's what you could call it. Because yes, it is going to be chaotic. One of the things that you need to probably stay away from, and you don't always need to stay away from, if you use your tools, your divination tools, your I Ching, your tarot, your cardology, you're going to need them this year more than ever. You know what I mean? So, like for instance, let's say you're planning on going to Mardi Gras this year. You want to go to Mardi Gras because I actually want to go to Mardi Gras this year, but this is not a good year for crowds, right? So this is when you use your divination tools, your advisor, and say, "Is it safe for me to go to Mardi Gras this year?" Well, da 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 da. And then you have to have. Then you're gonna have to have faith that you're being guided, because I promise you're being guided. So you're going to need these day-to-day tools, these day-to-day things to make those decisions on whether or not you're going to be in a specific location. You know what I mean? So crowds, that's the key word. I'm displacing the crowd this year. I'm displacing the 10 of hearts, which is the crowd. And the environment is the 5 of diamonds, which is craziness. It's craziness. It's maybe having somebody nearby who's going to snap, or it's also money. So it's going to be good for your money if you get out there in the crowd, if you get out there and network, you get out there amongst the public, your money is going to be good. You're protected. You know what I mean? But still don't take unnecessary chances, take precautions because your mind is what you got to ease. You know what I mean? You have to ease your mind. Got to have peace of mind. So for peace of mind, I use the E King, and I'm releasing a new version. I'm shutting down my old version and releasing a new version of the E King. And that's what I use. I've been using my new version already because I've been testing it. It's just a little thing, a couple of things that need to get, that I need to get squared away, and then I will release it. But y'all gotta understand, nobody's really doing this kind of work. Like a lot of people know me for Cardology, right? And stuff like that. But when it comes to taking these spiritual tools and mixing it with technology so it can make your life easier, no one's really doing that like I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it because I'm like, why not just give you the tool that can advise you and help you and all of that? Why not do that? You know what I mean? Because us practitioners and stuff, there's only but so many people we can deal with at a time. And maybe we can be that person that you come to in addition to what the tool that you have. But I'm not taking your money because if I'm giving you the tool that you have and you're spending like $12.99 a month, right? Where you're getting valid ass readings from the E King and it's interpreting it for you. Whereas you could be spending hundreds of dollars a month going to whatever, or whatever your thing is, when you got this tool that can interpret things for you, I think that's a steal. You know what I mean? And then for the fact that I use it myself, my friends use it, my family uses my apps that I create. You know what I mean? So that gives me even more. So if it's just sitting in your thing and you're not using it, then or you're not going to use it, then whatever. But I strongly suggest that you get this E King app and you use it, and because it's good, it's really good, it's really on point. Good morning, everybody that just popped in. How y'all doing? So another thing, crypto. Guap has not slowed down per se. The only time it appears to be that Guap slows down is when I go behind the scenes and I got to work on building things for Guap, building software for Guap. No, I do not have a big budget for it. The budget I have for Guap is what you see me make. So when I do classes, when I do webinars, when I do any of these things that I do, that is the budget that I have for Guap, right? So that means that I'm doing a lot of the building. Yeah, I'm the ultimate underdog. It's interesting because one of my students, um, she did something. She was talking about what is her name with the talk show, Tamron, right? And I think she mentioned how when she was young, her mom and she was the underdog. I think that was her that said that. Like we be knowing, you can bet on the underdog, especially the underdog women, because we work harder. You know what I mean? Like I work hard as hell. Rain, sleet, snow, sickness, depression, all of that. I continue to work. You know what I mean? So you can say whatever you want to say about me. At the end of the day, I'm working, so my heart is clear because I can only do what I can do. Nobody's writing me no big checks. I'm essentially taking money right out of my family's mouth and putting it into the things that I'm putting it into. You know, that's what it is. So no, I'm not wealthy because I reinvest every penny that I get in what I'm building. Because again, as I told y'all before, Black women don't get funded. And now that they quote unquote are closing, trying to home in on the Black VCs that we had that were raising money, and they're going to make it more difficult for Black women to raise money. And that is because, and you know what? A lot of it is not because of the fact that they just won't do it. It's the fact that even our own people, you know what I mean? It's also because our own people, it was even some of the brothers. that were dogging the people who wanted to give us money. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're only giving it to black women, you're not giving it to black men, da 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 da. You know, we just can't do nothing for ourselves sometimes. You know, not like nothing without hurting somebody else's feelings. Knowing that we get less than anybody when it comes to funding, anybody, including black men. I've had black men raise money in crypto all around me just to rug pull y'all, just to disappear and do something else, right? Like I've had black men do that, you know what I mean? And talk shit about guap, talk shit about me. And even if they don't talk shit about guap, they'll tell people don't mess with guap. So I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So the haters are like everywhere, everywhere. You know, I've had them on my team before. So again, people don't know the walk and the struggle that black founders have. No one knows. No one knows. They don't know. You know, being a founder in general is like being an entrepreneur, of a big company, like a big Fortune 500 companies. And you got entrepreneurs in these companies that are committing suicide, right? And founders are out here doing more than the CEOs in these companies. So you imagine what the founders go through. Everybody who has spoken about the path that's led them to success has talked about that the struggle and how hard it was. You know what I mean? And I'm not definitely exclusive of that struggle. The last 3 months of the year, I started spiraling down to a level of depression and disappointment that I never had in my whole life. Never had in my whole life. I know Chinese astrology. Yes, I definitely know Chinese astrology. Um, and my mission, my how people say my ministry is cardology. So I deeply immerse myself in cardology because, you know, the source uses me as as a vessel to put out cardology. You know what I mean? And why? Because cardology is a tool that people can use to help themselves, right? And it's not hard to learn. It's not hard to learn at all. You're dealing with the 52 cards. It's like built in you. This is yours. All it does is unlock. That's what it does. It's not learn, it's unlock. You know what I mean? And what it does is it deals with the mind. It deals with your ability to see things from a different perspective, to see things differently. So, everything in my life, my vision, my perspective is constantly evolving and growing. You know what I mean? So, that helps me to get through what I needed to get through the last 3 months of the year of last year. That helped me get through it, regardless. So I can hit the ground and I can pick myself back up. That's what it does. You know what I mean? So, you know, thank you. Thank you, Empress Well. Thank you. Thank you all. Like, you know, I have some real serious supporters and even spiritual supporters. I would get to places, and the only way that the thing is isolation. You shouldn't be isolated. And I began to isolate myself because when you're going through what you're going through and you get out there in the crowd and the people, there's always going to be someone who is going to lift you up and keep pushing you in the most mysterious and magical way. That's always happened with Guap with me. I used to speak a lot. I used to travel the world. I used to speak about crypto. And there will always be someone at the end of whatever I was that would come up to me and tell me only one phrase: don't give up. They would always tell me that. And it was always like an old man. It was always an old man. It was always an old black man that would come up and be like, how did you even get here? This don't look like your cup of tea. You know what I mean? And they would come up to me and say, that's the only thing. They would grab my hand and say, don't give up. So if I didn't put myself out there and then I didn't go out there, I wouldn't even run into these people. So I wouldn't even know that, there's that energy out there for me. I remember when I first started Guap, this man called me. He was about almost 80 years old, from the South. And we talked, and he was like, I'm just so happy for what you're doing. We need our own money. He said, and when you get this to where we can use this, I can use this in my store. I have some laundromats. I want to only accept guap. And he would call me and we'd be on the phone talking for like 2 to 3 hours. I would just listen. I would just listen. He'd tell me about the civil rights era. He would tell me about Jim Crow. He would tell me about everything, his own personal Jim Crow stories. And I would just listen. And I was like, you know what? This is the spirit feeding my mission and reminding me why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's on that side. But that doesn't mean that mistakes are not going to be made. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to run into some major obstacle, major crisis, all of that. I'm I'm a clubs woman. I'm a queen of clubs. Crisis comes along with it because that's what lights the fire. Crisis. Crisis lights the fire, gets you moving, gets you doing things that you've been afraid to do, gets you making more unplanned moves, getting you out of your head. You know what I mean? So you're not in your head debating on whether I should do this, whether I should put this out. They don't do that. Other folks don't do that. That's why they get things out. Not worrying about how it looks and how beautiful it looks. Not worrying about anything. Facebook wasn't beautiful when it launched. Facebook was very ugly and problematic. But look where it is today. I launched a social network the same year that Facebook launched in 2004, I think. Was it 2004? Yes. And one of my friends reminded me a couple of years ago that if you had never given up, because at one point I had about 100,000 users. And he reminded me, he's like, if you hadn't give up, you might be where Facebook is right now, or at least close to it. And I was like, you got a point. You have a point. So anyway, about some of the craziness going on, Seven of Spades. The United States has a Seven of Spades in Venus, right? Now, does the Seven of Spades always have to be explosions, fires, stuff like that? Well, it could be explosions and fires on a minimal level where minimal people get hurt. That's what it could be, you know? But we also have a bunch of other volatile cards in the spread this year that enhance the deadliness of the Seven of Spades. And that is the Ace of Spades in Pluto. That is the Ten of Spades, today's card. These are some very, 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 like you pile them all together, the Seven of Spades, the Ten of Spades, and I dare not say nothing else because I'm not trying to call those cards together while I'm sitting here. If anything, the Seven of Spades is also money. So I'm focusing on the money side. Bring me some money so I can take care of what I need to take care of. But on the other side, yes, last night I had a little minor incident in my own home. So I have a Seven of Spades in Saturn this year. I have a Seven of Spades in Saturn this week. And when I saw my yearly spread, I said, oh, wow, I may be dealing with a fire. You know what I mean? So what has it done? It's made me get prepared, like make sure my fire extinguishers are good, make sure my alarm, I got to get my alarm system hooked up to the fire system. What else? I got fire blankets. I'm going to have a little fire talk with folks because folks don't know certain things that you can do to put out a fire. You're going to need to do all of these things. I have no idea who's calling me, but I think that I have to put this out. Disruption. Didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all it's a 10 of spades, the card of disruption. Did I not tell you that? So even as you may be watching this, you may get disrupted, right? But keep your cool, keep your calm. It's all a part of the program. It's all about your perspective. Okay? It's nothing to get mad about. You know, some people will be like, oh my God, you interrupted my life. Y'all know I got kids. Y'all know I got a lot of them. Y'all know I'm busy. So it's all right. It's all right. Shout out to the single mamas out there and the single dads. Shout out to y'all too. Shout out to the couples who going on like they single. Shout out to you too. It's hard out here in these streets. So my opinion on what has been happening, the interesting thing is I told y'all that Elon Musk and Donald Trump's combination card is the five of spades, which is also the card for a lot of other things. It is the card for earthquakes. It is the card for the military. It is the card for stalking. It is the card for, I think it's like the prefaces before. Um, it is associated with terrorism too, as well, because the card for the word terrorism is a five of hearts. You know what I mean? So, and both of those are the karma card to the four diamonds. So, you know, we are, and I said this 3 years ago. I said there was going to be a time when terrorism, the way that it operates everywhere else, is going to definitely kick off here. And now we have arrived to that point. Why have we arrived at that point? We have arrived to that point because people have been stoking hate. One of the things that you do not want to do when people are in this mode of dealing with things like higher prices, depression, breakups, and all of that is stoke hate. You don't want to do that. And we have a president elect that stokes hate. And to be honest, I don't forgive any of you people who voted for him, just for the fact that this man can stoke so much hate in one session, and y'all find it funny. Like, you find it funny, but you're not thinking about all of the people who are on the brink and looking for an excuse to blow people up. They're looking for excuses to blow people up. Period. So the last person that we need on the mic is someone who stokes hate. We don't need that right now. But y'all wanted it. Y'all thought that was more important than anything, to have this person that stokes hate. Period. So there is a thing called karma. You put out hate, that's what you're going to get. That's what's going to grow. You don't need that. People who have an audience, they have a responsibility to the audience and to humanity to think about not just the people who are, you know, your audience, your fans, or whoever, but think about the people who also, like I said, are on the brink and can be triggered. Not just killing people out there in the streets, killing their family. I talked about this even during the what's his name, Kevin Samuels time. You know what I mean? Because you had so much men that were using this as quote unquote empowerment, but you had also other men who were using it as an excuse to beat on women and to be abusive and to say, you know what, to turn around to a woman and she's crying or she's stressed out because of how he's treating her and saying that you're crying because you're gaslighting me, or you're like feeling like that because you're gaslighting me. So here, let me pop you a couple of more times. Stop gaslighting me. Some of you just don't think. And some of you don't care. You don't care of the consequences of your words. And your words are super duper duper powerful. I was burglarized 11/1, and 11/1 is a 6 of diamonds day. 3 masked men kicked in my rear door. I had left 15 minutes before they entered. Had me fucked up for a month. Now I have all kind of security. Yes, definitely invest in security. Invest in security. Secure yourself. Lock your homes down. Yeah, yeah. You'll be seeing home invasions. You'll be seeing all kind of stuff when things are rough. You know what I mean? So keep yourself keep yourself safe. You know what I mean? Nobody is excluded. I don't care. You may have great juju. I have great juju and protection. But sometimes I think, well, that protection may protect me, but what about some of my kids? You know what I mean? What about that? What about my cousins? What about my what about my family out there? You know? But people are on this kick, are really thinking about themselves, and I'm not on that kick yet. I haven't arrived. I don't think I'll ever be on the kick of just thinking about myself. Now, this year, the United States has a 7 of hearts in the moon position. Let me explain that. 7 of hearts is boundaries, right? But usually it begins with what? Broken boundaries. That's what it begins with. So that means that someone is going to break the boundaries of the United States. That means almost like invasion, right? Now, what have we been seeing? We've been seeing drones, we've been seeing UAPs, and back 20, 30 years ago, we'd have called this an invasion. That's what we would have said. We would have said that this is an alien invasion. That's what we would have called it. And technically, that's what it is. Not saying that they're bad or anything, but to all of a sudden see ships all over the place, it's an invasion. 7 of hearts, right? And and as a matter of fact, I think the 10 of spades is displacing the 7 of hearts, which is today. That's today's card. So we also have this disease that's going around China, and I forget the name of it, but when I looked up the name, the what they're calling it, it was a 7 of hearts, right? And I thought about it, and I was like, damn, we got 7 of hearts going on. You know what I mean? So, but I think what this means is we're going to be more prepared on an individual level for it. So, no one's, of course, going to believe the government. But at the same time, people in households are going to be like, I'm going to lock my own household down. I'm not letting people in my house bring in germs and stuff like that, or, I'm not going into work because of all of that. So people, instead of the government putting it on the people are going to have to enforce their own levels and protocols to be able to deal with all of the things coming this way. And that comes with decentralization. That comes with Aquarian. The Aquarius. Aquarius is like you are going to have to organize your protocols and structures on how you're going to deal with things. And if your protocols match with other people's protocols, maybe it's a whole group of people, then y'all will be that group of people that deal with each other more, because I'll be like the Amish. You know what I mean? Like this is who we dealing with because our protocols are the same. So that's going to be the kind of thing that you're going to be dealing with. And I don't, and this is the thing, this is what we're going to be doing. And why is that necessary? It's necessary. These things are necessary, and all these things are happening to build your power, to make you understand that you're not powerless. You know what I mean? So when you build strength, just like when people go and they work out at the gym and all this other stuff, then they are working on their own personal power. Even in spiritual, even if you take a spiritual sabbatical and do something, you're working on your own spiritual, your own personal power. And personal power is going to be very important in these coming times. It's not going to be so much as important because of who you're dealing with in the government. It's going to be important when you meet these new beings to you that are not your idea of what human is, because I could say humanoid or whatever the case may be, for you to not be scared, you are going to have to be rooted in your own personal power. Or else you're going to do stupid things like the government does. And that is plant seeds of fear because they are afraid. Everybody's afraid. All these people trying to control people are afraid of being controlled. And I believe that at least factions of them, and I won't say the whole government because the whole government does not move as one, but factions of the government are going to be equipping citizens with the tools to try to go on the attack on what you call aliens. You know what I mean? So they're putting out weaponry to shoot things out the sky. And that's a no-no. They know that that ain't gonna work, but they don't care if y'all do it because you could be the casualties. You could be the casualties of trying to shoot stuff you see in the sky out the sky. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to bet, I'm willing to bet that the streets are going to be flooded with all types of things, tools, weaponry, or whatever, to that are designed to be able to conduct aerial warfare. You know what I mean? So, because I saw a couple already. They're like, hey. And you also have to remember when it comes to this government now, what's going on right now is the privatization of everything. Everything is they're trying to, this is what these corporations are doing. They're trying to privatize everything, right? We already saw them start with privatizing the prisons, but it's going to move on to privatizing the military, right? You were looking at all these militias coming up. These militias can be deputized, privatized, hired, so now think hired militias, right? These people have been training for God knows how long, and they will be able to get a job with a corporation as a privatized militia. You know what I mean? Militias will be the thing. So, privatization of everything. That's why they're trying to get rid of the Department of Veterans Affairs. And they want to defund the DOA and all this other stuff because they want to create their own military structures that are corporate military structures. That's what they want to do. You know what I mean? So, corporate police, defund the police. They'll defund the police too, and they will have corporate police departments, corporate everything controlled. And then the next level of that will be the robots, will be the bots. It won't even be people, it'll be bots that are owned by different quote unquote security companies, right? So this is the reason for making everything government look inefficient. So the other day we saw that guy get killed by those police officers. Wow, that is horrible. You know what I mean? And we know that, they use us as the scapegoats left and right. But what if the purpose of that? Because it's like, why would they do all of that on camera? You know what I mean? Like knowing they're being recorded. Why would they kill somebody on camera? Ain't nobody that stupid. you know? Well, you kill somebody on camera so that it could go out, right? And we decide that there needs to be some things, or we be acceptance of the solutions that they provide. So they likely are going to provide a solution to present privatized departments, privatized policing, which is going to be 100 times worse than government policing. Instead of working in the government and working on your hiring standards, hiring more, doing more training, more mental health training. You got cameras everywhere already. So when a camera is on and something is going on, then there needs to be something addressing that right away. Instead of all of these solutions that are pretty easy, The solution is throw it away. Well, who's going to come in and take it over? Is the question. Who's going to be running these private security firms, privatized police? Is it going to be Russia? Is it going to be China? Is it going to be whomever? You know what I mean? Is it going to be people who don't believe that you even should exist in on Earth? That you should whatever? You know, is it somebody that's trained in cross-cultural dealings with? No, it's not. It's not. What you fail to realize is that a lot of these high-end, beautiful corporate programs are run by Nazis. Your good old fashioned Nazis. So just think about that. Just think about that. So this is all their plan to privatize everything. Privatize everything to show government inefficiency, to plant so much seeds of doubt in your mind about your own government that you will wipe it out. And the thing that you're going to have left is the corporate rule. That is what you're going to have left. We're never going to be without government, a government. So why not make it the billionaires, right? Why not make it the billionaires? And people have fed hook, line, and sinker in this. Hook, line, and sinker. Instead of getting involved in the government yourself and making it better, because you can run for Congress, you can run for president. We got a felon president. You can run for Congress, you can run for your state, local government, you can take control of the local government, show up in numbers to local government meetings, to all of that. You can do that. But because a lot of you have a savior complex, Jack of Hearts, which is also what a lot of the people who voted for Trump has, because he has a Jack of Hearts in Saturn. So that's why he has so many Christian leaders going for him, even though the man ain't Christian, the least bit Christian you can think of. He has a Jack of Hearts in Saturn. Jack of Hearts is the Christ card. In Saturn, it is the Antichrist. And what I mean by Antichrist is like, I'm going to do everything opposite of what Christ is supposed to be about. And you're still going to follow me. You're still going to vote for me. You're still going to pray for me. All of that. Ma'am. Sorry, Grant. You want to watch Doc McStuffin? McMuffin? Okay. Uber, can you put on Doc McStuffin, McUffin for her? I think, I'm sorry, y'all. Didn't I say disruption? Antichrist just means that you do the opposite of what is supposed to be Christ-like. This man has sexually assaulted women. This man breeds hate amongst people all over the place, pits people against each other, has talked about you in your own face. This man has done all of this stuff. You know what I mean? And here they are calling Obama the Antichrist. You know, this just dumb shit like that. Dumb shit like that. Of course, because he's black. He's the Antichrist. They said Obama created ISIS, all this other bullshit. But and I'm glad I could say these things because I'm not monetized. I don't get no money from YouTube. And I don't even really care to. I just want to get up here and be able to say what I want to say. I don't care about getting money from YouTube or monetizing this because at the end of the day, I want to be able to say what I want to say. You know what I mean? Or say what I need to say. I'm not up here looking for clicks and likes and subscribes and all of that because whoever needs to hear what I need to say, they're going to be here. That's that. It could be 10 people for all I care. I never cared about numbers. The number is never going to be high. Trust me. The people who really, really, really are not only going to consume these things, but do something with it for the benefit of humanity. It's not, the number is not going to be high. Hi. So, at any rate, people, I'm looking at the comments now. People need to stop with the duality and see we all in the same boat. Yeah, but you know what? Jupiter's in Gemini. Guess what that deals with? Duality. Everything's in twos. Both sides. Duality is going to always be a part of it. What you need to do is embrace the duality. Embrace it. You know what I mean? Try to find middle ground. Embrace it. But at the same time, it's more about the division that people are trying to do is more about trying to, this is what narcissists do. Narcissists want to line up people in their favor, but because not only narcissists but paranoid people. And guess what? The five of spades is the card of paranoia. So people who suffer from various degrees of paranoia, that's what they do. They try to line up people in their corner, right? Because they feel like that something could happen to them at any moment. Because you know what I mean? So instead of dealing with whatever they're dealing with to make that change that they need to make, or the inner change, they're focused on the outer world and what everybody else is doing and feeling like people are going to do things to them. A lot of people suffer from paranoia. A lot. I think I said narcissism. Hold on one second, y'all. Grandchild. No, I mean I don't mind her, whatever. I just, but I erroneously said, I mean, because there is some degree of narcissism within them. We see that. However, the real problem that they're suffering from is paranoia. So you have paranoid personality disorder, you have paranoid schizophrenia, which is like real, it really triggers some stuff, right? But paranoid personality disorder is like you orchestrate this whole entire world to make yourself feel safe. You know what I mean? So you don't feel safe. So you create safety for yourself by creating a movement of people that, like a cult, that can shield you from danger out there, or this cult of people you think love you because you don't feel loved or you didn't feel safe. So you got people who are paranoid all over the place running shit. You know what I mean? And I think that Donald Trump absolutely suffers from paranoia. Like, I do. I really do. So that's what it is. Yeah. Oh, you mean my granddaughter? No, she came over here and she wanted some cake. I baked a pound cake last night. And she came over and said, "Can I have some cake?" And I like, you gotta wait till I get off. And that's her crying now because it's probably something else she wants. She's in her want phase. But um and that's what that is. But her mom is there. She's not just roaming the room by herself, by the way. So I just had to throw that out there. Like, why your kid, your grandkid, just doing that and you on YouTube because her mama's over there. So at any rate, I'm just trying to figure out how to keep my girls safe. Yeah, the first thing you start with is your own spiritual grounding, because you need to be safe to keep your girls safe. You need to know that you're not alone, even when you're alone or you think you're alone. You need to know that there are forces out there that are working for your highest and best good. There's sources out there that are working for you, that are supporting you, so you align with those forces and make it easier for them to help you, make it easier for them to support you. A lot of times when people are slipping away into depression, they're detaching themselves away from their own support system that is there to support them. And isolation could be the worst thing. You know what I mean? So really tightening up community is going to be key. Like, it's a tightening up community. I see communities coming together now. I see people coming together. My vision this year is more people coming together, more people forming communities and coming together and forming these tight networks to deal with each other, regardless whether they like each other, love each other, they love humanity, they love themselves, and they love their family. And if you love your family, then you have to love humanity, because just loving your family is not going to protect your family. You do not live on an island. You know what I mean? These people gonna roll up on your doorstep. You don't live on an island. Greetings. So I did talk, like I said, to talk about fires and explosions. So do things like, like we said earlier, make sure your fire alarm works. Make sure you have a extinguisher, fire extinguisher. I even have fire blankets. I have these blankets that I bought a long time ago. They weigh a ton. I got a couple of them that you can throw on a fire to put a fire out. So I have those. And then also education, telling your kids what to do in the event of a fire. You know, there's various things you can do if you have nearby. Some people have baking soda, flour, these types of things. And they say even in some instances, flour can be more effective than baking soda. I mean, than water. You know what I mean? Like, just things like that. So make sure you have those things nearby, because any little thing can pop up. Be careful with incense. I know a lot of us like to burn incense, and I've had incidents with incense a little bit too often. So I'm very, very cautious when about comes about those things, and candles. Even don't um don't hold that in your mind that, oh, this candle, nothing's gonna happen to it, and da 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 da. Don't ever. I'm telling you, the way the spirits work, the spirits and the energy work, can blow something right up into your candle. You know what I mean? Like, something could just be blown up into your candle, drop right into your candle. Like, all types of things can happen. So you just want to be cautious. Cautious. You don't want to burn candles when you're not at home. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. I don't. I don't even burn 7-day candles when I'm not at home. I'm gonna tell the spirits, if you want me to burn a 7-day candle, I'm gonna put it out and go back in and turn it back on. I'm just sorry. That's just me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, oh, I think this is my kids coming to the door. I got more kids coming to the door. At the end of the day, you want to be prepared. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I got more kids coming to the door. There's the life of a queen of clubs. So I'm used to it. Somebody at the door, more kids getting dropped off. They getting ready to go back to school. Disruptions, disruptions, disruptions. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the transference of anger. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people do this. Like, you're angry about one thing and you transfer it to another and another and another and another. Those are the things that cause the really big incidents too. And that's the thing that you can control. You can control your own anger. You know what I mean? So this is going to be a year. And look, we're in the middle of Mars retrograde, right? This is going to be the year where it's going to be critical that you control your own anger. Your own anger. Not the anger of other people, but your anger. Because blowing up can lead to unintended consequences for you if you do that this year. So if you don't want it to go all the way left, then, you know, work on controlling your own anger. So I'm gonna wrap it up. It's good talking to y'all. I got to get back to work. Like I said, remember today's the end of the early bird for both things, the vault, and we get access to all my stuff forever. It was lifetime access to the vault, not a year, not a month. And then the Friday is my class on my webinar on AI agents, why you need them, what they are, how to build them, all that other stuff. That both of those early birds are here. One link is here. The other early bird is just on my snip feed. If you go to my snip feed, or if you go to AquariusMaximus.com and you click on shop, or if you go to my snip feed, which I will post here, snip feed, and I'm on the wrong keyboard again. Yep. Snip. It's funny because this keyboard is missing all of its this keyboard is toast. Snipfeed.co. Yep. Aquarius. I could have just put my other keyboard back up. But if you go to snipfeed.co, Aquarius Maximus, and you scroll down, think almost like down to the bottom, the early bird to the vault is still there, and it's going to be gone today at 8 o'clock. So thank you. Trust News Ultimate Life Flex. Get in. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dragon Phoenix. Thank you. My adopted brother bludgeoned my 80-year-old father. I'm so angry. Yeah, unfortunately, you'll have to, because, you probably got a family that needs you. You know what I mean? Like even more so. If you're angry, there's ways to, that means anger means action. What action can you take as a result of your anger? You know what I mean? Like, what positive action can you take as a result of your anger? Better yet, you know what I mean? You need to talk to somebody, reach out to somebody, reach out to me, reach out to other people. But there are people counting on you. You know what I mean? So, at any rate, peace, y'all. Thank you. Transmute.